everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have 3 Mother's Day DIYs for you. So the first one is using this wooden cross that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I am also going to be using this canvas as well. And the first thing I need to do is remove all of the staples so that I can take the canvas loose from the frame. Now, going back to my cross, I take the little hanger there off, and I have this wrapping paper that I got from the Dollar Tree. I think this is a really pretty paper. It would actually be really nice for Mother's Day as well. So using some Mod Podge, I'm going to take and cover the cross with the Mod Podge, and I'm going to give it a pretty thin layer, trying to get it as even as I can, and then I am going to apply that paper on top of the Mod Podge. Once I started applying this wrapping paper to the cross, it really started getting a lot of bubbles. It had lots of wrinkles in it, and I just was not satisfied with the outcome of this, so I do go back in and change it later. But as for now, I let it dry, and then I take my sanding block and I go around the edges to sand off the excess. And then to get in the curves of the cross, I just take a piece of sandpaper and fold it in two. And then with this gold iron-on vinyl, I use my Cricut and I cut out Proverbs chapter 35 verse 25 through 26, the scriptures about virtuous women. And if you don't have a Cricut, you could use stickers. If you have great handwriting, then you could write this on with a gold pen, or you could do like the rub-on transfer, where you print off and then use your pencil to shade in the back and then just kind of etch it in, or use carbon paper or whatever and then use some type of pen. But I do have a Cricut, so I use my Cricut to get this cut out. So I am just weeding this all out. I do not like to weed. I lost a lot of the little what do you call those? I can't think of the word. The dots for the eyes. I lost a lot of those in the process. So I actually did go back in with a gold pen to replace those dots. And then I just center my wording on my canvas, and I'm adding just a scrap piece of drop cloth, and then I'm going to lay my press down, and I do 30 seconds at the top and then 30 seconds at the bottom, and then I just kind of go over it just to make sure. You don't have to use a Cricut press. You can use just a regular iron as well. And here it is. Now it's already cooled and I've already removed that plastic top that was on there, but I will get this kind of sort of centered under my frame, and then I will glue it to the frame later. But first I'm gonna kind of put it together to see how I like it. This was my idea of laying the cross over top, kind of slanted on the frame, and then I wanted to spell out mom with these letters. I'm pretty sure I got these letters from Joann's. It could have been Walmart. I've had them for a while, but anyways, those stickers were terrible. They wouldn't stick. They didn't want to come off. They just were not good. So I ended up taking a little felt heart from the Dollar Tree left over from Valentine's Day, and I stuck it in the center of my cross. Now, I just could not stand the way that that paper was looking on that cross. It just drove me insane. So I took it off, and it stuck pretty well, as you can see. So I had to take my sanding block and sand off as much of that paper as I could get, and I started over. So again, I add a layer of Mod Podge all over the cross. And then this time I'm going to be using tissue paper. Now, tissue paper is very thin, of course, so I knew that I was going to have to double up on the layers, so I did. This tissue paper, it is a tan color, but it has this white floral design on it, so I thought it was really pretty. I thought it would go well with my gold lettering that I had done. So again, you can see how thin it is. So I stick that first layer on, and then I add more Mod Podge, and then I fold the paper over to double it. And I still was not satisfied. I just felt like the pattern did not really show through like I wanted it to. So I added another layer of Mod Podge, and then I used this tissue paper. This is a white tissue paper with gold polka dots on it, and I was satisfied finally with this one, and those gold dots just work beautifully with the gold lettering. So I just kind of cut down some of the excess there and set it aside so that it can dry, and then I take my sandpaper and sand off the excess paper. And then I glue it to the top of the frame at an angle. And then now I'm still going to grab one of the felt hearts from the Dollar Tree, but this one is a white one, and I am just going to attach it in the middle of the cross using some of this satin ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is kind of like an off-white color. Anyways, I take and make a little shoelace bow, and then I will attach it to the top of the cross. And this first one is completed. You guys, let me know what you think. And for the second one, I have another canvas. Now this came from a thrift store, not the Dollar Tree, and I need to remove the staples to get the canvas loose as well. Now this one, like I said, it's not from the Dollar Tree, so it was much harder to remove the staples, but I finally did get them all out. Again, using my Cricut, I cut out this little saying on this blue iron-on vinyl. It says, "Mothers are like buttons, they hold everything together." I just thought that was so cute, so adorable. Anyways, here I am weeding it out. Again, if you don't have a Cricut, no big deal. You could use stickers. You can use your own handwriting if you have nice handwriting. You can do the old pencil transfer method and then use some type of paint marker or other fancy marker or whatever you have, even a Sharpie, or you could use carbon paper. So I get this centered where I want it on the canvas. I'm just using some painter's tape to stick it down so that it'll stay in place and not move around. And again, I'm just using a piece of canvas here. This is like a canvas tote bag that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using my iron. My Cricut press kept saying error. I'm not sure what was going on. It's probably me, but anyways, I'm just using an iron. It works just as great. And then once this cools, I just take that little plastic off, remove the tape, and there is our cute little saying. And I just add my frame, trying to get it centered up the best I can. This frame seemed to be a little wonky as well. It wasn't completely like 90-degree angles, but whatever, it's still cute. So I just add hot glue to the back and press down my canvas. I do the top part and then I do the bottom part, kind of stretching it as much as I can, and then I do the sides, again stretching it as I pull it down and press it into the glue. And then using my little X-Acto knife here that I got from the Dollar Tree, I just trim away the excess canvas. I wanted to add some buttons because that's what it was talking about. So these came from the Dollar Tree. I just tried to pull out some various sizes. I tried to pull out the ones that were blue or kind of in the blue family to glue down to my canvas. And here it is. Again, you guys, let me know what you think. And for our final DIY, I'm going to use this heart from the Dollar Tree. This was from Valentine's Day. And I removed the little hanger. And at first I was going to put another little saying on this, but I completely went a different direction. So instead of using all of the little words that I had for my saying, I end up just using the one word mother. So this is not iron on vinyl. This is just regular permanent black vinyl. And again, it's just the word mother. And I'm just using this clear transfer paper. This also came from the Dollar Tree. As long as the words are big or the image is fairly big and you don't have a lot of small pieces, the Dollar Tree, the clear transfer tape from the Dollar Tree does just fine. But if you got some intricate stuff, it doesn't stick that well. But for this, again, like I said, it's doable. And after I get this on, I'm just going to set it aside because I am going to be staining this heart. So I add some of the spackling from the Dollar Tree to fill in those holes at the top. I let it dry. I kind of sand it a little bit so that it was nice and smooth and I could get started staining it. To stain this, I'm using one of those small bottles of oak gel stain that I got from Walmart, and it was pretty much empty. So I just added some tap water to it, shook it up, and this gave me plenty to stain this heart. Now I'm only doing the top part. When I get finished, I go back over any spaces that seem a little bit lighter, and then I wipe off the excess and let it dry. I am going to add some ribbon to this heart. I wanted it to kind of be ruffled going all the way around the heart. So the first thing I do is add some glue to fold over the end of the ribbon so I have a nice straight edge to start with. And then I glue about an inch of the ribbon down, and then I fold back about a quarter of an inch and glue that down, and then I glue an inch down, fold it back about a quarter of an inch, then glue an inch, fold back a quarter of an inch, glue an inch. That's kind of the way I work it to give it a ruffled effect going all the way around the back side of the heart. And when I get to the end, I just snip off the ribbon and then I add some glue to the edge, fold it down again so that it has a nice seam, and then I attach the two little ends where the ribbon meets just so it looks like one continuous ruffle around the heart. Now I can add my word mother. I just put it kind of sort of in the center just so where I think it looks like a nice placement, and then I just pull off that contact paper. So at first I was going to add some of these sunflowers, and then I decided no, I think I would rather add the lavender. So I'm going to pull off some pieces of the lavender. I do 3 pieces on each side. And then I'm going to glue that to the bottom. I'm also going to add a few pieces of boxwood. I just like to add some greenery when I add florals to anything. So after I get my placement of everything, I start gluing everything down. So again, I glue the lavender on each side, and then I'm going to take the pieces of boxwood and glue those in between my pieces of lavender. And I still wanted to add those sunflowers. I think those sunflowers are just so pretty. I love the white color. So I'm going to add one of those to the center, and that kind of covers up the ends of the stem and the glue as well. Now I have ruffles, I have flowers. What else do I need? A bow. I am going to make a scrap bow. I cut my ribbon down to 10 inches. I probably could have done a little bit smaller, maybe 9 inches or even 8 inches, but I did 10 inches. So I cut two 10-inch pieces for each kind of ribbon that I used. So I used this black and white buffalo check ribbon that I had used as the ruffle around the heart. I used this black ribbon. This came off of a gift box that I got several years ago. I also used a burlap ribbon. I got my burlap ribbon from Joann's several years ago. This kind of purple sparkly ribbon that I used, this came from a thrift store. It says Jacqueline Smith on it, so I'm pretty sure it probably came from a Kmart. And then the lace ribbon with the gold thread that I use, that is one that I already had on hand. And after I get all my ribbons cut, I just fold them in two and ducktail all of the ends. And to assemble my scrap bow, I just start laying each piece of ribbon down diagonally on top of each other. I cut off a piece of twine. I scrunch my bow together in the center, and then I wrap the jute twine around the bow and I tie a knot as tight as I can get it in the back of the bow, and then snip off any of the extra pieces of jute twine. Then I just fluff and fluff and fluff up my bow, and then I'm going to glue it right to the top of the heart. I had already had my buttons out from the previous project, so I just take one of the buttons and add it right in the center of my bow. And I flip my heart over and I take a piece of twine and I tie knots in the end and I glue the knots to the back of the heart to create a hanger. Now you could leave this as is, you could have stained the back of the heart, or you can take a piece of felt and cover up the back as well. And here it is. You guys let me know what you think of this one. Also, let me know which one was your favorite. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it and will give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you do that as well. And I will see you guys next time.